All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. In transit. Quick lesson in transit. Now, this Time Magazine, 1999. You have them pretty much letting it be known that the computer is gonna be how the Israelites was gonna get their identity back. They was gonna be able to search their roots. See, like the movie Roots. You was gonna be able to search your roots and see where you come from. Retrace your bloodline. Because this was the main prophecy dealing with the Israelites. When you go to Ezekiel 37, it talks about the dried bones, them being in their graves and being coming to life. Then when you go to Revelations 11, it talks about the Israelites being dead bodies in the streets of the great city, which is spiritually Babylon. Spiritually Babylon, but spiritually Sodom and Egypt. So they knew that what Revelation 11:11 say, they're gonna wake up and stand upon their feet, and great fear is gonna fall on them that see them, the enemies. They knew the Israelites was gonna have enemies, and they was gonna wake up from a dead state, a spiritually dead state. And so, go to Jeremiah 17, verse 4. It tells you that they was gonna discontinue from their inheritance. Hosea 1:10. Apostle Paul quoted it in Romans 9. Apostle Peter quoted it in 1 Peter the 2nd chapter, verse 10. So it was always known that the Israelites was going to lose their identity and they was going to wake up in the last days. Prophet Daniel, in chapter 12, he told them that the knowledge was going to increase. You see, in Daniel 12:4, the knowledge was going to increase, and the Israelites was going to go from to to fro and increase their knowledge. And then it said the seals was going to be taken off the book. The seal was going to be taken off the Israelites. You see? Oh, let me get my light. And that's exactly what happened when it comes to the Israelites who lost their identity. And see, the captives of the Israelites, they knew who they were. They wasn't in confusion about who the Israelites were. They knew it. It just was the Israelites was in confusion because they didn't know who they were. They lost their identity when they got off the slave ship. And so, like this thing say, the genealogy is America's latest obsession. This is way before the computer really came out strong. It say, and thanks to the computer, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. And when they seen that these computers was gaining improvement, well, you had the internet was gonna jump out there in the year 2000. That's really why they were saying the world was coming to an end. See, they understood that the world was coming to an end because these Israelites finna get on this internet, and the knowledge is gonna be increased, and we ain't gonna be able to hide their identity no more. They gonna be able to find their roots, find out where they come from. Because you seen on the movie Roots, they beat the name out of them, beat the language out of them, beat the history of they past history out of them. See, 1830, you had what was the guy name who went to reading the Bible and killing up the people in Birth of a Nation? I forget his name, but you had David Walker and others writing to the slaves that telling them their history. He had a thing called Appeal to the Negro. And so when he came out and others, they start writing literacy laws and hiding the information, saying we don't want these slaves reading or writing because they gonna start running off the plantation, and they gonna start finding out who they are and revolting. And so it's the same thing about the 1999. They understood when this computer is upgraded, which we already got to upgrade it, we just got to present it to the people. Because another thing that people don't understand, that these elites, they move 8 years after they done came up with their plan. See, they'll come up with the plan, what they're gonna do, and then 8 years later they execute the plan. That's why you have a president. He's the president for 8 years, for an 8-year term. See, he's working out the plan that they done had for 8 years prior, and they elect a certain president to execute those plans when he get into office. Now, some they only get for 4 years, but the majority of the presidents did had an 8-year run. And so this is what we dealing with when it comes to these red dragons. Now, when you look at the picture, they gonna have all the red dragons on him, but then nobody was worried about their identity, even though they knew that was gonna be the end of the world when their identity was revealed, because they are the children of Esau. And see, Jeremiah 49:10 say that Esau was gonna try to hide himself. And so that's exactly what happened with these Edomites. They tried to hide themselves and hide the identity of the Israelites, so everybody would have a covering cast over their identity. That's what Isaiah 25:7 and Isaiah chapter 60 verse 2. It say gross darkness covered the people because they didn't know the identities of the people. They was told that the Edomites was done away with, and they was told that the Edomites was the Israelites. So they was totally in darkness. The whole earth was in darkness because the rulers, which is the children of Esau, in their kingdom, in their blessing, they had the power to hide the identities of all the people. And so when you look at when they had the year 2000, if you was old enough to know, it was a very publicized thing. All the news outlets and all the churches was making a big deal out of this year 2000 situation. And it had no real significance, because the so-called mark of the beast hadn't even hit the scene. And so they had no reason to be concluding that the world was coming to an end. Because it wasn't no mandate that came through and made people have the temptation to join the beast. And so once you see that, and then 5 years later, the internet really jumped off on with the YouTube, 2005. And so once that jumped off, it was a wrap. So that's when the information started to flourish. Even before the 2005, the information was flourishing. Because you had individuals on there breaking down the Bible and bringing out the truth that was isolated because they couldn't go to the masses. Because they couldn't have access to the television, radio, or newspapers. And they didn't have the income to travel the country and pass out flyers and booklets hand to hand. So it was always the destiny for the internet to pass the truth to the Israelites, and that was prophecy in what was it? Let's see if I can get it real quick. In Psalms. Psalms chapter 19, verse 4. It says, their line is gone out through all the earth. See? And their words to the end of the world. That's what that Matthew 24 and 14 was. She'll be witness to all nations, and then the end shall come. See, they had to go out to the internet, that line, online. Once it got online, those words went online throughout all the earth, all the world, to the ends of the world, and sparked off the end of the world. And so, let me get that Second Esdras 6 and 20. It says, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The books shall be opened before the firmament. See, that's that online. The World Wide Web through the satellites. The satellites is in the firmament. It says, and they shall see all together. See, at the end of the world, it was gonna go. The word was gonna go out online through the World Wide Web, which is the internet, and it was gonna make it easy for the Israelites to understand their roots. See? And so this is what these people knew. These elite Illuminati, elite Edomites, they knew that this contraption that they had made, it was going to be an easy avenue for the Israelites to expose them and reveal them as being the man of sin, according to 2 Thessalonians. Let's get that. 2 Thessalonians. Let's see, this is New Testament, so they can't run from this. 2 Thessalonians, verse 3, it said, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come. See, so the end ain't gonna come until something happens. Except there come a falling away first. That means the Israelites were gonna lose their identity And then that man of sin be revealed. The son of perdition. See, the son of perdition had to be revealed before the end, and the Israelites had to lose their identity. Jacob and Esau, children, had to lose their identity, and it was all going to be revealed in the time of the end. That's what Daniel was telling them. I ended on Daniel. Daniel 12:9. It say, and he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. You see, their words was going to go out to the whole world, online, in the firmament, the World Wide Web, and it was going to be sealed and covered until that happened. In the year 1999, they knew that this internet that they was making through the computer, it was going to be a worldwide situation, and that was going to be the time that the revealing of the Israelites and the Edomites was going to be sparked off, and the end was going to come. That's why it was a big hoopla when this internet was jumping off in the year 2000. See, they knew that this wasn't going to mess up the time. Y2K, they called it. You know, what in the world? How that's going to mess up the clock? The computer's going to mess up the clock. No. They was going online, and they knew that's when the roots was going to be exposed, and it was going to present the end of the world. But I'm going to leave it there. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honor to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.